So along the way, you then obviously are in service, military service. Can you describe your duties and your experience of combat and what exactly, and honestly here, what exactly you've done as a military, as a serving member of the Ukrainian Armed Forces?
So for the past 3 years, first I was in 137th Battalion in 35th Brigade. I was in infantry for approximately five or 6 months roughly. I was gunner for Kepaveta. We didn't really do much because of situation on contact lines, so we rotated for a few months, and then I put a request in to transfer to the 36th Brigade 1st Battalion. Upon arrival I was put into Air Assault Company. We did some training, we did our jumps from helicopter, and then we rotated to the front line annually. And then last year I signed a year extension onto my contract with Mortar Company. Basically my duty was to prepare the mortars and then give them to the firer so they can fire it. So that's what I've been doing for the past 6 months.
So for the past 6 months you've been preparing artillery, which has then been fired.
Yeah.
And where has that been fired?
This was in the village of Pavlopol, like where we were stationed. So we were firing it at like enemy positions.
And you say enemy positions, Aidan, you say enemy positions, but we're now in the city of Donetsk, where for the last 8 years Ukrainian forces have been shelling not enemy positions, but civilians.
Yeah.
Killing thousands of civilians, children, for 8 years. So you're telling me that you think that you were shelling military positions, and yet for 8 years your colleagues have been openly, and in fact glorifying and celebrating in shelling, in killing, in inflicting untold misery and suffering on the people of Donetsk.
Yeah. As I said before, because we were mostly stationed in the south, like I never really knew what the reality of like the situation was up here. We were mostly based around the Pavlopol area. Once the first day of the operation started, my commander asked me to, well, they told everyone to go to like battle stations. I told my commander I'm not firing, I want to desert. He said, okay, you can go. At that time it was pretty impossible.
So when did you say you wanted to desert?
The first day of the operation.
Uh-huh. So this is February the 24th?
Yeah.
And what motivated that?
I didn't want this war. I was hoping previously upon the build-up, like something peaceful might happen, but that never happened. And then once we were pushed back within a day, we were pushed back to the village of Zara, I think it's pronounced, I'm not sure.
Near Mariupol?
Yeah, north of Mariupol. And again, I asked my commander, like, I want to leave, like, can I leave? He said, yeah, you can leave. The only problem was that I couldn't find any transport to leave. So
what motivated this? You've been serving for years, and then you want to leave, but then you keep fighting on. How did I just can't quite believe that, probably, if I'm being honest.
So up until like 6 months ago, I signed a new contract, like for 1 year extension, because my wife is in Mykolaiv, and at that time I didn't realise we'd be doing another rotation, because we'd literally just come back from one like 6 months before. So as far as I was aware, we would be doing like guard duty and like training in Mykolaiv. Uh-huh. And then after like 2 months, my commander told all of us to get ready to go for rotation. So then that happened. And then slowly, like, we had the whole incident with like Russian politics and like Western politics, and watching this slowly, like it was like aiming for like a possible scenario of conflict, but there was always every opportunity that Ukraine was given to de-escalate, they blatantly ignored.
Right, Ukraine had 8 years to recognise the republics, to recognise the results of the referendum of 2014.
My biggest problem with the Ukrainian authorities was the recognition of Crimea as Russian territory, because as you said, it's been 8 years. Like, regardless of what anyone thinks.
Tell me, whose territory is Crimea?
Russian.
On the Donetsk and the Lugansk People's Republics?
Independent, like Donbass peoples and Lugansk. Like, they've had 8 years, like this war's been going for 8 years.
The Azov Battalion, I'm going to hit this point again. How to describe the Azov Battalion?
Fanatics, criminals, Nazis.
Okay. I mean, you accept that you're lucky.
Yeah, I'm lucky and I'm grateful.
And how's your detainment? How's your detention? Can you describe your circumstances, your situation?
It's been good. It's better than what I was expecting it to be. Like for the past month and a half when we were under siege, I was basically on guard duty in our battalion headquarters because of my previous attempt to desert. And the reaction of a lot of the Ukrainians that were serving alongside me were mostly ignorant or didn't want to accept the fact that we will lose this battle, which I told them we won't win, like we should just surrender already.
And how did you come to be taken into captivity?
So I think it was last Monday, the remaining Ukrainian forces, our commander came to us previously because they had been preparing the vehicles with armoured shielding, and basically our commander came to us and he gave us 3 options. He said either you can try walking out and try sneaking out somehow, or you can go in the military convoy, which is being modified with armour and stuff to try and break through. Or 3, you can surrender to Russian and DNR forces. I chose number 3 because I'm not an idiot and I know what the situation is.
So you ended up with no food, with no nothing, didn't you?
Yeah, the Ukrainian military left us. My humble opinion about Mariupol is we should have left it, left Donbass when we were given the opportunity. But instead our commanders told us to stay in Mariupol and do it to the last man, which is reckless.
In the UK, Aidan, as we've discussed, your family are worried about it. I'd like to give you the opportunity to say some words to camera, to speak directly to camera, to your family.
So Diane, my wife, I want you to know, I love you, and I hope that the British government is able to push this prisoner exchange so that I can return to you and we can build our life in Britain. My mother, my brother and rest of my family, I also love you, and I hope to see you guys soon, hopefully, if this exchange with prisoners is done.
Okay. I mean, you understand we're out of the jurisdiction here of the British government. You're really, as it's being positioned in the British media, you're being held by, inverted commas, by bad Russians. And as I say, your own Twitter account is pumping out a stream of anti-Russian bile and hatred as you're being positioned in Sky, BBC, the Daily Mail, etc. as some kind of, I don't know, they're trying to position you as some sort of a hero who went to fight for Ukraine, but now you've ended up being taken by the Russians, who we're told the worst things about exclusively, and yet here you are in captivity for a week. You look absolutely okay to me.